Google Translations closer than ever before to real intelligence. But absolutely, that sort of hurry in trashing Google is not called for. Google is still a firm which is immensely revolutionary, as seen even not too long ago in its approach to one of the most confounding issues people have ever encountered: getting machines to understand human language very well to translate from one to a different one. Enter Google Translations. The thing is, the translation problem is one area tailor-made for Google's distinct plus points: massive computing ability, as well as substantial insights into certain ways in which language can be used to imply one thing or another in its searches. If you never have tried out translating anything expressive from one dialect to a different one and wrestled with just how really difficult it usually is to find the actual sense to go over well, you might find it challenging to have an understanding of the formidable achievements involved in having a computer to do exactly the same. Why don't you just try any typical interpretation program available and find out how it goes? Even with something simple like "she is pretty," picking a top-notch translation service such as Babelfish, you can emerge with something hardly any better than "isn't it lovely?" And in such a world, Google Translations has somehow got an advantage on the competition, with a few truly spectacular processing power pulling for it. Google Translations does something no one else has been capable to accomplish so far: take something you declare in one dialect in a sense a local speaker will mean it, and make it out in a different dialect, in an approximately similar sense in a manner that a native speaker of that other dialect would take it. This is simply not to express that it sounds entirely natural just what Google Translations achieves. It simply shows that the meaning and the sense become apparent. There is still a lot of rough perimeters to smooth out. But nonetheless, for countless language college students, travelers as well as businessmen around the world, it can get things done very well that it ought to become an important part of the modern world we all know today. Just like Google Search has, anyone who has watched any documentary on the historical past of computer systems on the Discovery Channel or elsewhere must be familiar with what they call the Turing test. Dr. Alan Turing was a computer scientist in Great Britain who attempted to develop a test for computer systems in order to determine how close to human intelligence they were. Google Translations essentially bring computers closer to passing that test than any other attempt has. To be honest, you can instruct computers to analyze as well as make sense of sentence structure, terms, and even many idioms. But the sense and the emotional context of anything is far above the capability of any kind of computer system. Just take a simple 3-line story that will make any human feel a little catch in the throat. Little Sally danced happily along with her new yellow balloon. A gust of wind took it out of her little hand and the balloon popped on a tree branch. Little Sally wept and wept. No computer could actually make sense at all of exactly why her little hand is supposed to be significant in aiding you feel the wept and wept. What Google Translations accomplishes, though, is done by having their computer system network, and what a vast network that is, fed with billions of sentences taken from typical human speech, to try and make sense of it all. And this is exactly what Google is past master at: taking unmanageable numbers of information, and storing, and assessing it. Google Translations enables you to do some rather hysterical tricks. Suppose you are strolling down the street, and a Chinese tourist would like to know how to go to Hollywood. You simply take out your smartphone, and ask him or her to speak into it. Send it to Google Translations, and you should get an English interpretation in mere seconds. For anyone who would want to write Google off after its troubles with Buzz and Nexus 1, Google Translations should be a little indication that Google is really second to none in getting interesting things done first.